Justice is due.
Mm.
Those are some chilling words, right?
Yeah, really haunting.
And they were left behind by this Bengal Ruteki, Atul Subhash.
Yeah.
And his story has just ignited like a firestorm across India.
Absolutely.
And so today, that's what we're diving into.
And let's go.
We're doing a deep dive into this case.
Right.
This really complex case.
Yeah.
So Atul was 34 years old, right?
Yeah.
He was an AI engineer.
Right.
And he was found dead in his apartment.
Mm.
But he left behind a 24-page suicide note, an 80-minute video.
Wow.
And just a story that's become a flashpoint.
Yeah.
In this whole conversation about men's rights in India and the misuse of dowry laws and the complexity, I mean, just all the complexities of alimony in India.
It's a big one.
We've got like stacks of news articles.
Oh, wow.
Legal analyses, social media discussions.
That's tons.
So are you ready to get into this?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what makes this case so compelling?
Well, I think one of the things is just it touches on such a raw nerve in Indian society.
It does.
You know, like a lot of people have very strong feelings about this. So
yeah. And I think we should start with Atul's story.
Yeah, let's start there.
You know?
Yeah.
Like his suicide note, his video paint a very disturbing picture, don't they?
Yeah.
Of harassment and extortion by his estranged wife, Nikita Singhania.
Yeah.
And her whole family.
Right.
And he claims they filed all these false legal cases against him.
Yeah.
Against his family.
Right.
They were accusing them of dowry harassment and domestic violence.
Yeah.
He even alleges that Nikita demanded a huge sum of money, like 3 crore rupees to settle the case.
Wow.
Yeah. On top of that, he claims that she was also seeking a monthly maintenance of like 2 lakh rupees.
Oh, wow.
Which is way more than what the court ordered.
Yeah.
Which was 80,000.
Right. It's important to remember, though, you know, like dowry laws in India, they were created to protect women from exploitation.
Right.
Unfortunately, like any law, it can be misused.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. And I think Atul's story, regardless of whether his allegations are true or not, it's really struck a chord, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
With many men in India.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really taps into this like real fear of being falsely accused and trapped in this legal system that they see as biased against them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. I think so.
So before we dive into that, could you explain a little bit more about what anticipatory bail is?
Yeah.
Because Atul mentioned that that Nikita and her family sought this before their arrest.
Yes.
You know.
So so think of anticipatory bail as like a safety net. In India, if you believe you're about to be arrested for a non-bailable offense, you can apply for anticipatory bail.
Right.
Okay, so it's like asking the court for protection from arrest because you think the accusations against you are false.
Okay.
So in this case, Nikita and her family probably applied for it because they were fearing arrest based on what Atul was saying.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So according to Atul, who are the main players besides Nikita?
Well, based on his accusations, it seems like Nikita's mother, Nisha Singhania, her brother, Anurag Singhania, and her uncle, Sushil Singhania, were also allegedly involved. Yeah, in the events leading up to his death.
Got it. Okay. So, and adding fuel to the fire is that Nikita was working as a senior AI engineering consultant at Accenture in Delhi.
Right.
And so the company's been under immense pressure.
Yeah.
On social media to fire her.
It's tough, right?
It's like a classic example of trial by public opinion.
Yeah, it really is.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is something we need to be really cautious about.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, social media can be incredibly powerful.
Yes.
But we got to remember that it doesn't replace,
no,
you know, the actual legal process.
A real process, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like online outrage shouldn't dictate someone's guilt or innocence.
No.
Like everyone deserves a fair trial.
Yeah.
Due process.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
Okay, so, and just to add to the complexity of this whole case, right?
Right.
Nikita, her mother, and her brother have all been arrested.
Oh, wow.
They're in judicial custody for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Meanwhile, her uncle is on the run.
He's still on the run?
Yeah. Still on the run.
Wow.
And then there's another twist.
Oh, yeah.
Right. some files, including Atul's suicide note and a letter where he criticizes the justice system, have disappeared from his Google Drive.
How does that happen?
And so, naturally, his family believes there's a cover-up going on.
Right.
Right.
That's suspicious.
Yeah.
The missing files definitely add another layer to this whole case.
For sure.
It's natural for his family to be suspicious. I mean, however, like, we can't jump to conclusions,
No.
Like, digital evidence is tricky.
Yeah, it is.
And, we got to wait for the investigation to uncover what happened to the files.
Right.
There might be, perfectly innocent explanations for their disappearance.
Nobly. Who knows?
I mean, it seems like every new piece of information just adds another layer of complexity to this story.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But one thing is for sure, like, Atul's death has really struck a chord.
It has, with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there have been nationwide protests.
Wow.
With men's rights groups demanding justice for Atul and calling for reforms in marriage laws.
Right.
And they've held processions in cities all over India, echoing his plea.
Yeah.
Justice is due.
Powerful.
And this is where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
You see, Atul's case has become a focal point for a much larger conversation about men's rights in India.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's this growing movement advocating for changes in laws that they perceive as unfairly biased against men.
Yeah.
Particularly when it comes to divorce and domestic violence accusations.
Right, that comes up a lot.
Yeah. And the lawyer who represented Atul in family court even stated publicly that Atul had been truthful about his experiences with the legal system.
Wow.
Clearly, Atul felt deeply wronged by the legal process. And his case has resonated with a lot of people who share similar concerns.
Right.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Like, how can we create a legal system that truly protects both men and women while ensuring fairness and preventing misuse of laws?
That's the question.
I mean, it's such a delicate balance, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And this case really underscores the need for careful examination and potential reforms to ensure justice for everyone involved.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. One of the things that really stands out to me in this whole case, is how much attention has been focused on, like, the financial side of things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
With the separation.
Yeah.
Atul's claims about, the alimony demands and the settlement demands, along with, like, all the details about his own finances. It's really become a big part of the narrative, right?
Yeah, it's true. In his suicide note and video, he repeatedly talks about, how he felt like his earnings were being used against him. Almost as if he was funding the legal process that he believed was destroying his life.
Right, yeah.
He even went as far as to say that the taxes that he paid were contributing to the very system that he felt had failed him.
Right. And that speaks to a much, I think, deeper sense of frustration that a lot of men are expressing.
Yeah.
This feeling that the system is just designed to take money from men, regardless of the circumstances of the case.
Yeah.
And this narrative of victimhood has become really powerful, I think, within the men's rights movement.
You can see that echoed online.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of anger and sympathy for Atul on social media.
For sure.
A lot of people are using his phrase, justice is due, as a rallying cry.
Right.
But we have to be careful, right?
Always, yeah.
About taking everything we see online at face value.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social media can be a breeding ground for misinformation.
It's true.
And biased viewpoints.
Yeah.
And so while it can be a really powerful tool, right, for awareness, we got to remember that online outrage doesn't equal guilt.
Right.
We need to let the legal process play out.
Right.
Fairly. Yeah. Impartially.
For sure.
Without letting public opinion sway the outcome.
For sure.
It's crucial to remember that Nikita and her family are entitled to due process, just like anyone else.
Right.
Their guilt or innocence should be decided in a court of law, not on social media.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the legal case against Nikita and her family.
Okay. Yeah.
They've been arrested on charges of abetment to suicide.
Right.
Can you break that down for us? What exactly does that mean?
Yeah. So to prove abetment to suicide, the prosecution basically has to convince the court beyond a reasonable doubt that Nikita, her mother, and her brother intentionally encouraged or helped Atul to take his own life.
Okay.
So it means they have to demonstrate like a clear and direct link between their actions and his decision to commit suicide.
Okay. So it's not just about proving that they were in conflict with Atul.
Exactly. It has to be more than just conflict.
Yeah.
They have to show that their actions were the main reason he took his own life.
So the prosecution has to show that their actions were the main reason that he committed suicide?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
It's a difficult legal standard to meet.
Right.
They'll probably use, Atul's suicide note and the video and any other evidence they have, like witness testimonies or financial records to try and establish that connection.
Yeah, okay.
But on the other hand, the defense, they'll probably argue that the evidence is unreliable.
Okay.
Or that other factors led to Atul's suicide, factors that were beyond their control.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then there's that, mystery of the missing files.
Yes.
From his Google Drive.
Right.
Do you think those could be a factor in the legal proceedings?
They could be, yeah. If those files contained information that supported Atul's allegations or contradicted the defense's story, then their absence could hurt the prosecution's case.
Okay.
But it's also possible that they're not really relevant to the main legal questions.
Right.
Or that the information in them can be obtained from other sources.
Okay.
We'll just have to, wait and see.
We can see how it all plays out in court.
Yeah.
Okay. So much of this case hinges on, what will happen in court. But Atul's death has sparked a much larger conversation in India, hasn't it?
It really has.
It's raised a lot of questions about gender equality.
For sure.
And fairness.
Absolutely.
In the legal system.
Yeah. I mean, on one side of the debate, you have people arguing that Atul's case is an example of, a systemic bias against men in family courts.
Right.
And then you have others who say that these claims detract from the very real struggles that women face in, a patriarchal society like India.
Yeah.
It's a very emotionally charged and complex discussion.
For sure.
Yeah. It's important to approach it with sensitivity and a willingness to understand all sides.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There are valid points being raised on both sides of this debate.
Yeah.
It seems like we're trying to find a way to ensure that laws meant to protect women aren't being misused to harm innocent men while at the same time acknowledging the very real dangers that many women face in India.
Absolutely, yeah. It feels like we're walking a tightrope.
It does.
Trying to balance everyone's rights.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's where the Supreme Court's recent decision, to introduce this 8-point framework for alimony calculations comes in.
Yeah.
And this new framework, it aims to bring more objectivity and fairness to alimony decisions.
Okay.
And hopefully, preventing situations where alimony awards are seen as excessive or arbitrary.
Yeah.
So by taking into account things like, the duration of the marriage, the earning capacity of each spouse, the contributions each person made to the marriage, the goal is to make alimony awards more balanced and fair.
So in a way, this framework seems like it could address some of the concerns raised by men's rights groups.
Yeah.
While still recognizing that, women might need financial protection.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
It's an attempt to find a middle ground, acknowledging that there are potential problems on both sides.
For sure.
And ultimately, we want a legal system that treats everyone fairly, regardless of their gender.
Yeah. But there's another side to this story that we can't forget about.
Right.
You're talking about Atul's family.
Yes. Yeah.
And their fight for custody of his 4-year-old son.
Yes.
The fact that his son's whereabouts are still unknown. I mean, that just adds another layer of tragedy.
It does. It really does.
To this already, heartbreaking situation.
Yeah.
And with the allegations of corruption against the judge,
right,
who handled Atul's case.
Yeah.
I mean, it raises serious concerns about the integrity of the whole,
absolutely,
legal process.
It's a stark reminder that, even when people try to seek justice through the proper channels,
yeah,
it doesn't always work out the way it should.
It doesn't, no.
Sometimes the very system that's supposed to deliver justice becomes a source of pain and frustration.
This deep dive, it's been kind of an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure.
Atul's, his suicide note and video.
Right.
They're so raw, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Full of pain.
So much pain. And regardless of whether his accusations are ultimately proven true.
Right.
I mean, his story has really touched a nerve.
It has.
It's brought to light a lot of the anxieties,
the
resentment that exists within certain segments of Indian society.
Absolutely.
And it's important that that we acknowledge those feelings.
I think so, yeah.
And try to understand where they're coming from.
Right. Yeah, we have to try to understand.
The men's rights movement, while sometimes controversial, I mean, they have raised some valid concerns.
They have, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, they have.
About, the potential for false accusations.
Right.
And what, what some see as a bias within the legal system.
Right.
And we've seen firsthand how social media can amplify those concerns.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it can definitely do that.
But it's crucial to remember.
It is, yeah.
That a fair legal system should protect everyone.
Everyone involved,
Right. It shouldn't just be about men's rights versus women's rights.
Right. It's not a competition.
Yeah. It's about, finding a way to create a system that's truly equitable and just for everyone.
For everybody, yeah.
A system that can protect the vulnerable without being weaponized by those seeking revenge.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about finding that balance. Right. So ideally, we should strive to move past this, adversarial us versus them mentality.
Right.
Right. And work towards a system that's focused on finding the truth.
Right.
And ensuring accountability and justice for all parties.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And as tragic as it is, I think Atul's case could serve as a catalyst for real, meaningful dialogue and reform.
For sure.
It's an opportunity to examine where our current system falls short.
Right.
And explore new ways to build a more just and equitable society for everyone.
And that's where you come in.
Right.
Our listeners.
That's right.
I mean, this deep dive isn't just about passively listening to us.
No.
Right. It's about encouraging you to, think critically.
Absolutely.
Engage in thoughtful discussions.
Yes.
Challenge your own assumptions.
Challenge your assumptions,
And consider different perspectives.
Right. Exactly. So what stands out to you?
What questions does this case raise?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, we should all be asking ourselves.
You should,
These tough questions.
Yeah. For example, how can we make sure that laws designed to protect women aren't being misused to harm innocent men?
Right. And how can we address the very real dangers that women face without resorting to harmful stereotypes or creating a system that's inherently biased against men?
Right. Good questions.
These are complicated questions.
They are, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no easy answers, but these are questions that we, as a society, we need to grapple with.
We do, yeah. We have to grapple with these.
As the legal proceedings in Atul's case continue to unfold, we hope this deep dive has provided you with some food for thought.
Some things to think about.
And we encourage you to continue following this case.
Yeah, keep up with it.
And engage in, meaningful conversations about gender equality, due process.
Absolutely.
And what true justice really means in our society.
Yeah, that's important. Let's move beyond the outrage.
Yeah.
And, finger pointing.
Yeah.
And work towards a future where tragedies like Atul's death aren't just mourned, but are learned from.
Right.
We should be striving for a future where justice isn't just a slogan, but a reality for everyone.
That's right. So we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
All right.
Right. In a society that's grappling with such complex social and legal challenges, how can we make sure that that the pursuit of justice doesn't become a source of injustice itself?
That's the question.
I mean, think about that as you, continue to follow this case.
Yeah, keep thinking about it.
And let's keep this